What is up, everyone, and welcome back to Sacred Cards. Today I'm here to share with you my Kairyu-shin Umi Control deck profile for January 2024. As mentioned before, Mako Tsunami is my favorite character in the anime and asserted my love for the water archetype. I've been doing a boatload of testing with this deck, trying to perfect the ratios, and I'm very happy with how the deck performs. For a lower tier deck, I'm very impressed with the consistency and matchups against the meta. It's extremely fun to play and controls the field with revamped classic water monsters. Like I said, I've been testing the deck a lot and I'm very happy with this list. With all that said, I'll go through it and explain the cards as best I can. Let's get right on into the deck profile. Starting off, the water monsters, 3 copies of Ocean Dragon Lord Kairyu-shin. This is the heart and soul of the deck. You always want to have access to this card, and this deck has many ways to do it. While Umi is on the field, each player can only control 1 non-water monster, which isn't a problem for us because every monster we play is water. And during the main phase, you can add either a copy of Umi, Kairyu-shin Spell Trap, or Sea Stealth Spell Trap from your deck to your hand. Another great card for the deck is 3 copies of Electric Jellyfish. You can send a copy of Umi from your deck, from your hand, deck, or field to the graveyard to special summon a water monster from your hand. And if Umi is on the field and your opponent activates a monster effect or spell card effect, you can negate that effect, and this card gains 600 attack and defense. That is not until the end of the turn, by the way. As long as it stays on the field negating effects, it will gain 600 every time. I then play 3 copies of Warrior of Atlantis. You can discard this card to access your copy of Legendary Ocean, and if not, it's got a beefy 1900 attack, so it does not hurt to normal summon either. For the other level 4 monster, I play 1 copy of Maiden of the Aqua. Maiden is another copy of Umi. If you don't have a field spell, it is treated as Umi. It may not seem like much, but having this card has come in clutch way too often. Usually I will summon this off my copies of Dark Reef. Now, another monster I really like having access to is 1 copy of Mega Fortress Whale. It has many effects and does a lot for the deck. One being that if Umi is on the field, water monsters can attack directly this turn. During your opponent's battle phase, quick effect, target a monster your opponent controls, destroy it. Also, if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add to your hand or special summon 1 water warrior monster from your deck or graveyard. Next, I play a single copy of Gamma Seal. Gamma Seal is here for getting rid of problematic monsters on your opponent's field. It's also easy to search with your copies of Ice Barrier, which I'll get into more in the Spell Trap section. And the last monster I play is 1 copy of Terror King Salmon. A few of the spells and traps will allow you to special summon this card from the main deck, so it makes sense to play. It's a free resource to let you make plays, put pressure on the board, or go into some of your Xyz monsters. You can just as well play any other normal water monster. It really doesn't matter, but I like having the level 5 utility. Well, that is it for the monster lineup. Now on to the spells. For consistency and draw power, 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. This card always ensures you have the pieces you need to control the board. Whether you need a copy of Umi, Kairyu-shin, or Sea Stealth card, this card helps you dig through the deck to get to what you need and more. Prosperity lets you banish up to 6 cards in the extra deck to excavate 6 cards deep into the deck. Now, I found a card that works really well in this deck is 3 copies of Time Tearing Morganite. I think in the right deck, this card can be extremely powerful. After it is activated, you can no longer activate monster effects in the hand, which doesn't hinder this deck whatsoever. You can draw 2 cards during your draw phase and up to 2 normal summons per turn. This is really helpful for a control deck like this that needs to see its combo pieces. Plus, if you draw into multiple copies, you can banish it and discard another copy to prevent your opponent from activating monster effects when you normal summon. Now onto the engine cards. 3 copies of Fish Sonar. This card lets you add a level 7 or lower monster from your deck to your hand that mentions Umi or is a normal water monster. And if Umi is on the field, you can special summon a normal water monster from the deck. Really good card. Next up is three copies of Legendary Ocean. This field spell's name is always treated as Umi. It gives your water monsters a 200-point attack and defense boost and reduces the level of all water monsters in the hand and on the field by 1. Very important card that lets you normal summon your level 5 monsters. Another form of Umi is 2 copies of Sea Stealth 2. I was playing 3 copies before, but through testing, I found 2 to be the perfect ratio for me. This card's name becomes Umi when it is on the field or in the graveyard. This continuous spell makes it so your opponent cannot target water monsters with non-water monster effects. And at the start of the battle phase, you can special summon a normal water monster or a monster that mentions Umi from your hand or graveyard in defense position. Destroy it at the end of the battle phase. It gives you extra protection and good to reborn your copy of Mega Fortress Whale to destroy an opponent's monster. Another searcher I play is 1 copy of Foolish Burial of Goods. Goods is another way to see your copies of Kairyu-shin or Gamma Seal. You can send your copy of Ice Barrier to the graveyard to get a search, or alternatively, you can send a copy of Umi, which you can then recover with Sea Stealth Attack. Next, for some one-ofs, I'm playing 1 copy of Change of Heart. Good for baiting, negate, or steal an opponent's monster. Another option to help you control the board and go for game. Another spell I think is necessary is a copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. Pretty self-explanatory, and this deck doesn't have an easy way of dealing with your opponent's back row, so I think it's a helpful balance to play a copy. And then rounding off the spells is 1 copy of Called by the Grave. I like Called by the Grave because you do a good amount of searching in this deck, and it's good to stop your opponent's hand traps and graveyard effects. Next up is the traps, starting off with the all-important 3 copies of Sea Stealth Attack. This is a continuous trap that when activated, you can activate Umi from your hand or graveyard. When Umi is on the field, it gains the effects that once per turn, you can banish a water monster to protect all spells and traps from being destroyed, even if this card leaves the field. And at the start of the damage step, if your water monster whose original level is 5 or higher battles an opponent's monster, simply destroy that monster. Next, I play 2 copies of Kairyu-shin's Dark Reef. This just might be my favorite card in the deck. It lets you send a copy of Umi to the graveyard to special summon 2 monsters with different names from your hand or deck that mention Umi or water normal monsters. Then if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon any number of level 6 or lower normal water monsters from your hand or deck. The idea is you set up with this card and see Stealth face down, activate this card as Chainlink 1, send Umi for cost, then activate Sea Stealth as Chainlink 2 to immediately recover Umi from the graveyard so it is on the field when this card resolves. Next, I play 3 copies of Ice Barrier. Shoutouts to this beautiful quarter-century secret rare. I think it's very powerful and underrated. Its first effect is not once per turn. When your opponent declares an attack, you can change their monster's attack to 0, negate its effects, and lock its battle position. And second effect is you can banish this card to send a level 5 or higher water monster from your deck to the graveyard, then recycle a water monster back to your hand, even the card you just sent from your deck. Now the last card I play in the main deck is a single copy of Full Armored XCs. I absolutely love this package and in the extra deck. This trap is searchable with your copy of XC's Armor Fortress. It has the ability to allow you to XC summon using monsters you control, then banish this card from the graveyard to equip an XC's card from your field or graveyard and gains the effects that the equipped monster attacks. The equipped monster gains attack equal to that monster, and if it were to be destroyed by a battle or card effect, destroy that card instead. Well, that is it for the main deck. Now moving on to the extra deck. Starting off with a copy of Full Armor Dark Knight Lancer. You can XC summon this card with a rank 5 or 6. It gains 300 attack for each material and equip card it has. Once per turn, you can target an XC's card in the graveyard, add it to your hand, but the best effect is that if it becomes equipped to a monster you control, you can attach an opponent's monster to this card as material, which is a very powerful effect. Next is a copy of Full Armored Crystal Zero Lancer. You can XC summon it with a rank 5 water. It gains 500 attack for each material it has, and if it were to be destroyed by a battle or card effect, you simply detach a material instead. But the effect I really like is that you detach a material to negate all monster effects on your opponent's field. Next is a single copy of XC's Armor Fortress. You can XC's summon this card with any rank 3 or 4 monster. Detach a material to search your Full Armored XC's trap card. If a monster equipped with this card battles, then any battle damage it inflicts is doubled. Then we play a copy of XC's Armor Torpedo. Detach 2 materials to draw a card, and if it is equipped to a monster and that card battles, then your opponent can't activate monster cards or any activate cards or effects and negate the effects of all monsters they control. If the equipped card is an XC's monster, then your opponent can't target it with card effects. Next is a copy of Bahamut Shark. You can detach a material from this card to special summon a rank 3 or lower monster from the extra deck. To complement our copy of Bahamut Shark is totally awesome. When your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect, you can send this card to the graveyard to negate and destroy it. You then have the option to steal that card and set it to your field. Plus, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add back a water monster from the graveyard to your hand. Next is a copy of number 101, Silent Honor Arc. Honor Arc can detach 2 materials and target a special summon monster to your opponent's field and attach it to this card as material. If this card were to be destroyed, you can detach a material instead. Following that up is a copy of Silent Honor Dark. This card can target a special summon monster your opponent controls, attach it to this card as material. If this card is destroyed while it has material, you can special summon it, then gain life points equal to its original attack, but Silent Honor Arc needs to be in the graveyard to resolve this effect. Next is 1 copy of Nash Knight. Nash Knight can't be destroyed by battle if a number of monsters on the field. Also, quick effect, you can detach 2 materials, attach a number XC's monster from the extra deck that has a number between 101 and 107, then you can attach another face-up monster on the field as material. Following that up, we play a copy of CXC's Nash Knight. CXC's Nash Knight can be XC summoned using Nash Knight. It cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can detach a material to special summon a number monster between 101 and 107 from the extra deck, but using this card as material, but destroy it during your opponent's next end phase. Next is another rank 5 in 1 copy of Valiant Shark Lancer. You can target a monster your opponent controls, detach a material from any XC's monster you control to destroy it. This is a quick effect if you control another XC's monster. Plus, if another XC's monster you control is destroyed while you control this card, you can place any spell in your deck to the top. Now, we can't play a water deck without our copy of Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller will increase the attack of all your water monsters by 500, and once per turn, quick effect, detach material, and your opponent can't activate card effects in the graveyard this turn. Now, of course, we also have a copy of number 4, Stealth Kraken. Stealth Kraken can turn all monsters on the field into water, and once per turn, quick effect, destroy a water monster your opponent controls and inflict damage equal to half its attack it had on the field. Plus, if it is destroyed, you can special summon Stealth Kraken Spawn from the extra deck. Following that up, we are playing a single copy of Stealth Kraken Spawn. This card will quick effect, destroy a water monster your opponent controls, and if this card is destroyed, you can special summon Stealth Kraken back from the graveyard. These cards can create an endless loop for your opponent and can be really frustrating to deal with. And finally, the last card I have in the extra deck is a copy of number 47, Nightmare Shark. Nightmare Shark can attach a level 3 water monster from your hand or field when it is summoned, detach a material, and target a water monster. It can attack directly this turn. Well, that is it for the deck profile. I really hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything you like or don't like, feel free to leave me a comment telling me what you think. Be sure to like the video if you did and subscribe for more content. Thank you for your support and enjoy the Sacred Cards. See you all in the next one.